Okay, welcome to the live stream, folks. You guys are more than welcome to take your time to show up. Everything of the nature. You guys are more than welcome to do that. It's not a big deal quite yet. So, anyways, gotta also figure out what the best angle for everything is. So, still figuring all that out too. What's up, Zaga the Animator? How you doing? And y'all know the rules now that somebody has officially shown up. I can start with unboxing. So, that being said, we're going to not start with this guy. We are going to start with this guy because it blows my mind that GameStop lies to people so bad. Okay? It blows my mind how badly they lie to people. Okay? And when I say how badly they lie to people, I mean they lied straight through their teeth. Holy cow. So, yeah. Alright, seeing the new Studio Series box feels weird. No, it actually, I'm actually going to tell you right now, it doesn't feel as weird as you think it might. Okay? If you're used to the old style packaging, like for example, say the original Studio Series one, it definitely does not feel as weird as you might think. So it just looks a little different, which makes it seem kind of off, but it doesn't. It actually doesn't feel as different as it could be. So after finally seeing all the images on this dude, after seeing Keegan Michael Key play with this live on camera last year. I'm not even joking. The dude seriously played with this on camera. On camera. Last year. Played with this dude on camera. And they were like, oh yeah, that's coming out next year. And he goes, oh, well, can I take this one home? And they're like, well, sure, you can take it home. So, yeah. That's pretty much how that went. So, yeah. There we go. And we don't keep the inserts all that much. I don't keep them all that much because guess what they decided to finally do away with, which I've just now noticed. In the deluxe class packagings, they are no longer keeping tradition with Studio Series stuff that goes on. So I'm gonna let y'all know right now. The new Studio Series stuff, planning to make a Hot Wheels diorama, dude. I'm very frustrated because they completely got rid of the dioramas here. They got rid of the backgrounds. I I feel like with Hasbro, it's one or the other. You either get a background in the Studio Series thing here, but you have to make the sacrifice and have no plastic here. But instead, they decided, oh no, we're just going to put everything in there, but we're not going to give you everything that we've promised you. So I'm very frustrated with that. So let's get this open here. So there we go. I'm actually kind of happy with this because this comes with so many accessories. Well, this is actually the one I was mostly looking forward to seeing, but this all here is what comes for him. So, very pleased about that. So, one thing I was actually kind of curious about that I thought they were toying with the idea on. Yeah, they were toying with the idea. They didn't do it. But from what I remember is when they were originally showing this off, they were toying with the idea of giving him a battle mask. They must have gotten rid of that idea very early on because there's not even a glimpse of what they were gonna what they were going to do. So, and take note, we don't just have, oh, what's going on, Liam X? Are these Legos? No, they are not. They are not Legos at all. These are actually brand new, brand spanking new Transformers figures. This is from the toy line of Transformers 1, but this is from the actual Transformers line of Studio Series. So that's where these are from. So I think it's nice and that they finally gave him the double guns. I'm kind of glad they finally did do that. And I'm also glad because now we have a gun, the Prime. If you guys remembered, Prime didn't wield the axe until almost the end of the film, which is why, hold on here. Did they not do it? Oh my gosh. They were supposed to have done this. This is what frustrates me about Hasbro. They said that they were going to do this, and they did not. They said that they were going to make this compatible with this guy. Well, when they said that, obviously what they meant was, oh, look, you can now place it in his hand, and oh, look at that, it's ready to go. Well, my problem with this yeah, there's no place for this to go on his back. None whatsoever. So, yeah, this cannot be stuck to him, period. It can be stuck to this guy. I can tell you that much right now. Only problem with that is you got to remove the backpack. And even then, that's still a bit of a stretch. But I'm very frustrated with this figure so far. I mean, granted, yes, they did give us what was promised with the guns on that front, but, I mean, I'm not gonna have him be holding this. Not even close is that gonna happen, so... Yes, Badassatron. Make Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus Prime do the 86 pose. Okay, you got me with that one. You got me. I am a sucker for that pose. I'm not even gonna lie. I am a sucker for that pose. Hold on here. Oh no. See, this was the problem with with Prime, is that the crotch plate just does not want to stay put. He just does not want to. So, yeah. Here you go. There you go. There you go. So, yeah. I am a sucker for that. So, yes, I am quite a sucker for the 86 movie. I am quite pleased and excited for the 86 movie. However, I really wish that GameStop would have notified me and told me, hey, guess what? You're going to be waiting for these until July. Yeah, they didn't notify me until July. Well, okay, they weren't going to notify me at all next month. That's what frustrated me, is they were not even going to bother notifying me that, oh, by the way, the Transformers figures that you pre-ordered, yeah, you're not going to be able to get those until July. When we straight up told you that we were going to make sure, excuse me, that they were going, they literally told me when I was in line with their little figure card thingies that they were assuring me were going to secure my place in line for the pre-orders. They told me, this is what they told me, okay? When I went in to go talk to them, because, by the way, they have a card for this guy on pre-order. Yeah, July. I'm not even joking. They were not going to tell me this at all. And the only reason I found out about that is because, well, firstly, I found this guy on pre-order, not this guy on pre-order. I found this guy at Walmart. And on my way home, that was when I made the post of, do not pre-order stuff with GameStop, or at least do not pre-order this with GameStop, because they're straight up going to lie to you, and they are not going to be nice and fair. Because I can tell you right now, they were not nice and fair to me. They definitely were not nice and fair to me. So, oh hey, look at that! You can totally do the whole, I've got no wheels bit from the movie. So yeah. I think that's pretty funny, but no, they were not going to notify me at all until July. Oh, your pre-orders have finally arrived. Probably after, like probably a year or so after. Maybe not a year, but they were not going to be very friendly about it. And I was like, look, man, I'm not trying to bash on your company here, but I really would like you guys to be honest with me. When are my pre-orders going to show up? I said, please be honest with me. I said, because that's going to dictate whether or not I continue with this pre-order. And he says to me, he goes, well, it says that your pre-order is going to be here in July. I'm like, July? I said, there's no way that can be fixed or bumped up. And he goes, well, do you have the pro membership? And I was like, are you kidding me? What I said, let's say, for example, I did have the pro membership. When would I be looking at my pre-order showing up then? And he says to me, May? I'm like, okay. I'm gonna continue with the pre-order because I still have yet to see the Studio Series 86 Voyager class and Deluxe class of the what was it, of Scrapper and Bone Crusher. I'm going to keep that so long as, hold on here. This needs to there we go. That's better. That's much better. But I will keep the pre-order so long as they stay honest with me about what goes on with the pre-orders. And the guy said, "Well, you should have gotten an email." I said, "I never gave my email. You only asked for my cell phone." The guy was like, "Oh, okay. What's up, Skibbity Jacket? How you doing? How you doing?" I'm just talking about my misadventures at GameStop, which I'm not even going to deny were pretty dumb. So we're taking a look at Keegan Michael B here. So honestly, I kind of like this mold a little bit better than the other one. But I will say this: the other one definitely hides things a little better. So I will say about that. That's the only thing I like about the other one. The other one was just garbage. This one to tide you over until the Studio series was going to come out. So that, by the way, be on the lookout for this guy and Sentinel Prime because they're supposedly showing up at Walmarts across the country right now, and I'm quite excited and stoked about that. So, all right. Now that we've got you taken care of and sufficiently all of this stuff ready to go, now we can start getting into the Age of the Prime stuff, which is kind of what I was hoping to talk about today, because I originally was not going to get this, and I'm probably going to get the other one. Be aware, though, I'm not keeping them. I'm selling them. I genuinely have no interest in acquiring Superior. I have zero interest all around in collecting all of the figures for Superion. However, if I have to have something to sit next to Devastator, y'all's got to listen to the Wizard of Meh. It's peak. So, but anyways, I gotta get this out of here. Gotta get this off of here. Gotta get this off of here. Oh, look at that. Things are almost ready to go. That gotta go. Okay, so apparently of all the aerial bots, this is the one that's the best to start with, from what I understand. So everybody, at least the people who have been telling me that, they've been telling me that this is the one to start with. If you're going to start with any of the aerial bots, you need to start with Air Raid, because he's apparently the best one for you to get a hold of. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely just don't know anymore. I don't know. It's not my place to know. So, let's get this all opened up. Yeah, none of the tissue paper even got touched. Okay, so there is some stuff we need to attach, apparently. I don't know where half of this goes. This is a problem for me. I think these go back here? Yeah. They go right. Are you supposed to seriously rotate these? I think you're supposed to rotate those. Give me just a moment. Yeah, you're supposed to rotate these. Okay. So rotate this all the way around and do the same thing on the other side, except for I'm just gonna peg this one in on the other side like that. And then this, oh my gosh. They seriously packaged it with his arms tabbed in. Seriously? Ay. And not just one way, multiple ways. So these are supposed to go back here and securely get the nose cone in there properly. And this one goes here and here. So yeah, there we go. So there's Air Raid. Hooray. So we're gonna get this dude into his combined mode because I gotta know it for the video. So I remember seeing a Power of the Primes figure in the mall, I'm going to tell you exactly which Power of the Primes figure it was. It was 100% guaranteed the Leader Class Optimus Prime. I can tell you that much right now. It was the Leader Class Optimus Prime. There is no question in my mind that it was that. And apparently this guy doesn't have an arm mode. He's a leg. So, and, yeah. Well, I guess there's nothing else left to do but get him into his vehicle mode, because his vehicle mode is pretty much his leg mode, just at just a few steps differently. So, all right, well, let's figure out how to do this one. Do this. Good lord, this moves up and back. Okay. I'm gonna assume. No, don't assume. Oh, well, that's cool. Not even gonna lie, that is pretty cool. I was gonna say, the Starscream molds could learn a lot from this. Unless this is a Starscream mold, and I'm just now noticing this. Okay. So that folds up. Okay. And then this folds down like this. This has to go somewhere, but it don't want to go nowhere. That's not good. I am messing with this correctly, right? How am I supposed to get the head to... I know it's supposed to go all the way back. Okay, I know. Okay, well, look, I can tell you right now for Jet. Does he seriously just keep his head down in Jet form? I guess he does. That's a little lazy now that I think on it. But then again, I did not own the original Superion figure. I didn't even own the Combiner Wars, nor did I even own the Power Primes. I didn't own any of them. So, yeah. Just remember that. So, anyways, this goes in like that. And then we'll work on the leg. Final bit here of the leg. I'm gonna open this up. Close this back up here. And alright, I'm gonna open this back up, close this one up at the same time, and then make sure these bits tab together. Close that up, put that there, rotate that around. Take these guns, place them here. By the way, I did not look at the instructions for any of this, so y'all just witnessed me transform not one, but two figures without having to look at the instructions. So, alright, let's take a peek at the comments here. I haven't taken a look at it quite yet. Not quite yet, but let's see here. So, yep, it was that one. It costs 20 million. I'm going to assume that says ruples, but Indonesian currency. By the way, Studio Series figures are kind of hard to find in Indonesia. There are some Studio Series figures, but they cost Sweet Home Alabama 20,000. Oh, 20,000. Did I mispronounce that? I apologize if I did. It was not my intention. So, yeah. No, well, at least they didn't skimp out on some details. Come on. It's a little... Come on. There is... Hang on. Something that goes on here. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, these are the pegs and ports for... Oh, this is how you get him into his leg mode, by the way. So, this head does fold all the way back, and these pieces are going to tab into spots also here and here as well. So, There's going to be some spots where it's going to be really weird. What's up, Devin Poon, big fan Transformers? How you doing? So, but this is how you get him into his leg mode. Oh, and also take these wings and bring them back, and that's how you get him into leg mode. So, oh, plus rotate these up. I almost forgot that too. So, there you go. There he is in leg mode. So, as soon as, you know, the, what was it, the six shot? Or, six shot gets into play, you know, that commander class six shot, that's great. Then you can totally take this and have a have a great time playing with your Superion. Great, because I just don't care. I just don't care for some of the big combiners. I really genuinely just don't care. Some of them are great to look at. Some of them are great to, you know, see in person. Some of them are great even to just exist. But I just don't care for Superion. I don't care for Menasor. I've reviewed parts of them before. Gluing Legos is very terrifying. Yeah, that's why I don't do it. That's why I do not glue Legos. That's why we don't glue Legos around here. So, but this is another Age of the Primes figure. So, and we have reviewed Solus Prime and Fugitive Wasp already. So, be on the lookout for those reviews when they do appear. Excuse me. It's a little dry in my basement, but be on the lookout for those reviews when they come around. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for what's to come because I've also managed to track down a Devastation Optimus Prime. To which, by the way, if I was to bring that home, is that a review you guys would watch? I didn't really. I still don't. I genuinely just don't care for the Gamer Edition figures anymore. I'm just not caring. However, there is one thing that I'm very grateful that Hasbro is kind of taking note on and kind of doing away with. And let me explain this here by showing off a Age of the Primes box and a Studio Series box. I'm kind of grateful they're doing this. Well, and why do I say that? Well, firstly, the boxing is more uniform, so it all fits on a shelf better. Planning on getting Hot Wheels Optimus and Bumblebee in and a Miata and a AE86 and a Nissan Skyliner Supra. They look similar. That's cool. I'm looking at that A8 at the AE86 or the Trino. What was it? Initial D crossover that they're trying to do with Drift. I'm really excited to see that one because that actually looks really cool. I really do like the way that that looks. Take note. Only thing I know about Initial D is doing the gutter trick in watching the episodes. I know that the dude's a tofu delivery guy. So they look similar for yeah, I know they look similar, but I know he's a tofu delivery guy. I know his dad's a chain smoker. Uter yeah. So, but no, that's not what's playing in my head. In my head, Deja Vu is playing or Running in the 90s. That's also playing in my head. So, this is for all you anime nerds out there, for Initial D fans, if y'all know what I'm playing, if y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyways, point being is that I'm very, very pleased that Hasbro is doing away with the okay, let me show you what I'm talking about here. And I have a box to show you all exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So, you will see this in a video here soon. I'm getting rid of a bunch of boxes to make way for some new ones. But this is what I'm talking about. Studio Series did not look anything like this. So, this was kind of difficult to place on a shelf. The only thing that it really helped with was the fact that there was a little clip piece up here that you could just hang it on. So, you know, I'm glad that they're doing away with this style of packaging. I'm very glad that the wacky kind of angular, colorful kind of deal is done. I'm glad we're done with that because, take note, they were not appealing to the people who these are meant for. Okay, with this type of packaging, they were trying to appeal to kids. I'm gonna tell you right now, this age right here, 8 plus, right there. 8 plus is not the target age of a animation accurate, posable, expensive. Let's throw that word in there too. And also quite wonderfully looking action figure. You're not trying to appeal to kids with this. You're trying to appeal to the collectors, which is what they're doing with this packaging. They're doing away with the idea of this is all for kids. This is now basically, hey, kids, you've got your stuff. We're going to release some stuff that's based for kids now, but it's time for the adults to take over the collection, the collector's pan again. So, if you are an adult collector, don't hate on the kids because they still have toy lines that are coming out for the kids. Don't get me wrong, I definitely do know this. I am not even surprised about some of the stuff that was released at Toy Fair recently. So please, I already know. I already know exactly what's coming for me here. So I'm not even going to question it. Is there like a way for me to get this to just, it looks like there is, but I don't think it's going to. Okay, so take note. It looks like there is a. It looks like there's supposed to be a landing gear that pops out here, but I can't get it to pop out. So I don't know if that's supposed to be there or not. But anyways, yeah. I'm just very pleased that that they're kind of doing away with the childlike attitude of, oh, this is for the kids. We got to make it bright and colorful and have it a wacky, crazy, cool, kooky, fun time. When in reality, what kid is gonna know Star Raider Road Pig? Who's gonna know exactly what that is? I don't think any kid under the age, I don't even think 8-year-olds would know that. Who exactly is going to know what exactly goes on with Generation 2 Road Pig? Come on. Put it in a more classy packaging like this. Get rid of the windowless, plasticless packaging. Get rid of it. I'm glad we're doing away with that again, finally. I'm very pleased we're doing away with it because they're finally giving us exactly what we requested. And that is exactly what this is, which is they're doing away with the plastic in certain areas. They're doing, or maybe not doing away with the plastic, excuse me. What was Hasbro thinking with the windowless boxes? I know! I would love to know what was Hasbro thinking with those windowless boxes too. Because, take note, with this packaging, by the way, the only reason why I'm going to tell you this is because I'm one of those people who's not real too thrilled with the idea of this either. But you could easily pop the tape off, swap the figure, whole deal, no problem, right? Well, I'm really kind of really frustrated because that whole gimmick was made much easier with this packaging. You can just reach right on in. I said from the beginning I did not like the plasticless packaging. I said it from the beginning. I hated it. I thought it was the stupidest thing that they ever did. And fortunately, I'm glad that I'm not the only one who thought so. Because seriously, what makes you think a child... What makes you... Okay, better question here. Not even some TikToker. I don't think some stupid TikToker is going to... Well, I think some stupid TikToker would do that. But I don't think some stupid TikToker particularly would do something along the lines of this quite yet. I think what would more likely happen is some kid, some 5-year-old... By the way, I'm not actually sneezing. I'm just using this as a metaphor. Achoo! 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 And they get all their germs on their hands, and then they touch everything in the box, and then you get some scalper. Okay, let's just use this figure for example here. You'll get some scalper who's like, "Ooh, I can make some money off of that." So then what they'll do is they'll, totally cut the bottom piece here, pop it open, pop this open, literally swap the figure, put it back, retape this back open, take the germy nasty figure and then bring it home and then resell it, thus making germs spread. Take note, it's not about the money portion that frustrated me about this, or not even the money portion, or the scalper portion of this. It wasn't what my problem was. My problem was kids can get a hold of this and totally make people sick. Like, seriously, you want to know how COVID spreads? It's because of windowless packaging like this. You get somebody who can literally just get all their germs all up on this. And literally, within minutes, you have a contaminated product. And because it's a kid's aisle and it's a toys aisle, you're going to have people who are going to go, oh, let's go down the toy aisle, Timmy. They'll pick it up, sneeze on it, cough on it, like lick it. I don't know what kids do, but they're going to basically they're going to transfer bodily fluids onto this product. And then you are then going to either take it home and spread that kid's germs all to your family, or you're going to sell it and spread it across to wherever you're selling it to. And also, take note, whatever germs you have and you box this up, all the germs are on that packaging on the box you put this thing in. This is just an example. I did not sneeze on the figure. I did not do any of that stuff. But then you can take all of that stuff and then put it in the box, and then you got germy hands handling the packaging. And take note, the sickness doesn't arrive for like a couple days until afterwards. You've already sold it, you've already gotten rid of it. Heck, you might even already be onto your next one to get. And another kid might have done the same thing. That's what frustrates me about all of this. My little cousin almost smashed. Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that almost happened to you. I hope you chopped his hands off and then threw him in some boiling water and said, "Do not do that ever again." By the way, I am joking on this front. I am not. I'm not. I'm not. I am not serious. Do not do this. Take note. Do not say or take anything I say on this channel too seriously, because I would like to not get demonetized before I even get monetized. So, yeah. Let's not do what I said. Just make sure that your cousin knows not to mess with that ever again, because that's a figure you may want to hold on to. So, yeah. I ended up getting the, what was it, Studio Series 34, I think? No. This is why I hide my figures. Yeah, I understand that. I ended up getting the Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime, or the '07 Optimus Prime with the blades. So, if you guys are interested in any of that, you guys can check out the links in the description below if you guys do want to know about that. One takes you right to my channel, one takes you right to the giveaway video, to which, by the way, if you guys haven't known already, we are doing the giveaway for this thing. It's happening on the April 12th. It's happening on April 12th. We're going to take a look at your fan art. If you guys do want it, great. If you guys don't send in any of your fan art, period, by April 12th, I will not be doing a giveaway for this, and you guys can literally have to go find this all on your own, because I'm not going to do a giveaway if no one's going to participate. So you can find all of the stuff to my giveaway in the description below. So the giveaway video is literally, I left the description down there. Don't have to worry about it. So, yeah. So, anyways, I'm just very grateful that they're doing away with the whole idea of let's just keep the windowless packaging. I was very tired of it, especially towards the leader classes. And if I really have to point fingers and if I have to point out people and name names, I definitely can say that the leader class figures scared the crap out of me. A lot. Why do you say? Why, you may ask? Well, let's take a look at, here. This is why I hide my figures. This is, well, yeah, take note. Let's take a look at this figure right here, at this box right here. The Studio Series Ape Link box we've got going on here. Okay, so take note, I put Fugitive Wasp's box in here, but I could reach my hand all the way on in here. I could reach my hand all the way on in there. That is what frustrated me about this. And they didn't stop doing it until recently. So they must have learned their lesson from somewhere to a point where they must have been like, well, maybe putting these boxes out like that isn't good for our products. And this is why we're losing money. So yeah, I'm really frustrated with that a lot. So let's just straighten this out here. So, anyways, you will see reviews for these guys in a couple weeks because we've got a few reviews that are coming out within the next 2. So, within the next 2 weeks, we've got Studio Series, we've got the RC triplets, and sometime in the middle of, not this week, but the next week, I will be releasing 3 videos. I will be releasing the combined form for Optimus Prime and Jetfire, so you guys can be on the lookout for that for sure. So we're not ending the live stream quite yet. We're not ending it quite yet here. So fret not, dear people. We are not ending this quite yet. So y'all can get a chance at watching, and y'all can get a chance at interacting. To which, by the way, if you guys are not aware, we do interact with people, and the people who do interact do get shouted out at the end of the video. That's right. Y'all get shouted out at the end of the video. So, if you guys do want that, it's available. So, yeah. Hold on here. I swear, there has got to be something that goes on with this. And I cannot be the only person for thinking so. Or maybe I can be. Yeah, I can be. I'm stupid. Never mind. It might look like a landing gear, but it definitely is not. I feel really started. I feel really stupid. Oh, hold on. Do you have Brunt? Deluxe Class 07 Jazz was an underrated figure. It was an underrated figure. The only thing that I did not like about that Jazz was the articulation of the arms. That frustrated the crap out of me. The only thing it had was a little peg on the inside of his little flimsy arms. And that was what you pegged. The first thing that you had, the first round of that figure, there were two different versions of that figure. The first version of that figure, it came with like some sort of cane-looking rifle kind of deal. Yeah, kind of screen accurate. It was kind of screen accurate, but at the same time, I've got the better version. I've got the actual 2007 version from the Studio Series line. Siege Brunt. I do not have Siege Brunt. I'm not going to continue answering questions about figures I do not have. So, next. Anyways, point being is that, hold on here. That figure, there were 2 versions of it. I had both versions as a kid. The first version, it came with a separate weapon. The second one had a battle damaged paint job and came with a movie accurate gun. And yeah, and then there were multiple different repaints of it from that point forward that just used the first edition version of the mold. So yeah, unless you got a special edition version of the Jazz, you have the battle damaged one. Yeah, does it come with the movie accurate gun? Kingdom Slammer. I do not have Kingdom Slammer. Again, let's move on from figures I do not have. So, anyways, so yeah. So, yeah, I had the battle damaged one. Nope, it's a used figure. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's a used figure. But, no, the battle damaged version was a Target exclusive, along with, there were 3 versions of Target exclusives for, nope, it's a used figure for a good price, though. That's actually good. Okay. If you felt good about that price, then I'm not going to judge. I don't judge. I don't judge. If you felt like you got something for a decent enough price, then hey, that's great. I have no issue with that. So yeah. But I had two versions. I had the first version and the second version of that figure, and the second version of that figure was a Target exclusive that I think they charged you like 30, like, okay, it wasn't $30. It might have been more like 20, something like that, because came with like premier package. It came with such premier packaging and the Target exclusive stamp on it. So it was one of those weird figures that they did several versions of, like they did multiple versions of figures that they basically just re-released into the '07 toy line. And let me be very clear, the '07 toy line was weird. Okay? So when I say it was weird, I mean it was so strange. There were people who were scrambling trying to figure out what to put out. So, I'm going to tell you right now, for the first like couple of weeks of '07, there were some weird products, man. And when I say weird products, I mean there were some weird Transformers products. So, let's start with the obvious. They had to finish getting the Transformers Cybertron and the last little bit of Transformers Energon toys that they wanted to put out there and finish out the toy line in that. So they had to figure, yeah, the Optimus Prime mask did kind of go hard. I'm not gonna lie. I did have that mask as a kid, and I'm not gonna lie, it did kind of go hard. So if I could get Peter Cullen to sign that and I could have it sitting on my mantle, I would sit it right next to my signed Master Chief helmet by Steve Downes and Jen Taylor. And for those of you guys who do not know who Steve Downes and Jen Taylor are, that is the Master Chief and Cortana. And Cortana is also known as Dr. Halsey, the Weapon, like, not to mention Steve Downes. I don't have any Siege characters aside from Springer. I don't have any Siege characters. I have probably two Earthrise characters, maybe at best. And I don't have any Siege characters. I didn't care for Siege. I just didn't. Actually, let me be very clear. I was broke for Siege. I was broke for Siege. I was broke for Earthrise. I wasn't broke for Kingdom. And then Legacy, Legacy Evolutions, and Legacy United, I did my best. So I have a good chunk of those figures, but I'm getting rid of a bunch of them right now. So just be aware of that. I was planning to get some Siege figures, but then all of them were out of stock, never restocked. Yeah, the only figure that I feel really stupid for not purchasing within the Siege line was the Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime. And for those of you guys who do not know what that figure was that figure was basically Cybertron Optimus Prime before they were going to release a bunch of Cybertron figures. So, yeah. Anyways, to continue with what I was going with is that, you know, that mask did go hard. I would like to have it sitting on my mantle with my Master Chief and Cortana signed helmet as well. So, yeah, I wish I could do that too. So, I just framed a couple of things that I've had signed throughout the years. So, I just framed a few things and I'm quite pleased with it. So, yeah. So, anyways, that being said, the next time you see this, it's going to be in flames because I'm no longer keeping these. I'm only keeping a select few boxes of the Legacy United and the Legacy Evolutions. Like, I'm only keeping a select few. The rest of them are just they're going into a burn pile and they can just go be ash and smoke. I just don't care anymore. Holding on to these boxes is not helpful because of the way that they're shaped. They just don't help on the shelf. They just don't look right at all is my point. So I just can't get on board with the idea of keeping them in such a fashion to a point where what would I be keeping them for? I just can't get on board with it. So the figure itself already has lost its value along with the box, so I just no longer have a use for some of the boxes. So I'm mostly going to be paying attention to boxes that are going to be made like these two. They're going to be rectangular or square in shape, and they are going to have the stuff that I would like on a packaging, like a window. Oh Oh my gosh. What is up, Lemon Lime Studios? Yo, are they good? I don't know. You tell me. I'm actually going to be honest with you. These two figures have survived a lot more than I thought they would. This guy looks pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. So I honestly would suggest picking this one up over the Prime Changers one. And this one I just transformed. This is probably the easiest one I think I've ever done in my life, and I'm going to tell you right now, I really think they should have cooked a little bit longer with these because I just don't feel like these were given too much of a thought. I feel like the robot modes were a secondary, or not even a secondary thought. I feel like the vehicle modes were the first aspect they wanted to get onto, and then the second aspect was, oh, we got to somehow work a robot mode in there. So yeah, by the way, this is how he combines to what's a six shot in it. Yeah, so this guy's probably going to be the easiest figure. This guy and what was it? There's air raid and there was air raid and then there was criminy. I can't scattershot. I think that was who it was. But anyways, so this guy is okay. I'm very grateful that they gave this guy the actual weapons that he deserved. I feel that the yellow is a little off. I feel like the yellow is definitely off-putting, but at the same time, not a bad figure. Definitely not a bad figure. They're not bad figures. I just don't feel like they were. I don't feel like they lived up to the hype. Is my point. I just don't feel like they lived up to it. So, yeah. Do you have? No. Okay, dude. How many more times do I have to tell you? I don't have any Siege characters aside from Springer. If you ask me any more questions about Siege again, I'm going to boot you from the chat. Okay? I've I've already told you this 3 times now. Please listen. Anyways, well, I'm frustrated because if I have to tell you multiple times that I don't have anything other than Siege Springer, and you keep asking me, do you have this one? Do you have this one? It gets a little frustrating when I have to repeat myself over and over. So, no, I'm not going to take that and have you tell me to chill out on my channel. So do not tell me to do anything else, dude. Keep your questions relevant to what I have given you within the chat and within what I have spoken, and we will continue this. Please keep within context. Anyways, so to continue on, because I know somebody's going to ask me this eventually next again, did you enjoy Transformers 1? Yes, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it for what it was. The movie was great. I just think it was undermarketed and a little bit underdeveloped. What's up, Transformers fan? How you doing? How are you doing? So, let me remove that one. So, anyways. So, yeah. I honestly was rather hoping that they would have given us a Age of the Primes television show because they were originally, if you guys are not aware of this, they were originally going to give us a legacy TV show in Netflix. Netflix had originally signed a deal with Hasbro and the Transformers Studios to create a legacy television show, and there was a little bit of concept art that came out for it, and then it was scrapped immediately. They're like, nah, we're just done with that. We're not going to do that. I'm glad you're doing good, Transformers fan. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're doing good. So, a legacy show would go hard. I think it could have gone hard given the toy line that they showed us. And I think I have an idea of who the bad guy would have been. I already have a couple ideas of who the bad guy of that show would have been. I have a feeling that it would have been Tarn. Like I already have a feeling that Tarn would have been the head of that, and that would have been, but he would not have been the first villain of the show. Like I think that they would have finished off the show with Megatron, like Beast Wars Megatron. Let's continue on with that. Like with Beast Wars Megatron turning into Transmetal 2 Megatron, turning into the Dragon after they've been on Cybertron for a while. Let's say they reignite the war and some stupid bullshit comes up with them and it goes really really bad. So let's just say, for example, that I have a feeling this is how it would have went. I don't know for sure this is how the scripts were written. I don't even know if this is how any of it would have gone. But I have a feeling that Legacy Tarn or Legacy United Tarn, or not United, Legacy Evolution and United Tarn would have been the bad guy of season 2. I feel like Transmetal 2 Megatron would have been the bad guy of season 1, and I have a feeling they would have had like some space bridge or interdimensional rift or whatever go on where you had all these different people coming in from different versions and corners of the universe. So you would have had the Prime universe, you would have had the Armada universe, the Cybertron universe. You would have had multiple different universes coming into play at the same time. So I have a feeling that would have been really cool to see. So I honestly think it could have been. So because Legacy played with a lot of different universes. So I have a feeling that, Transmetal 2 Megatron. I asked you a question about the Transformers Studio Series backdrop, then I came with it because nobody's using it. Oh, okay, so the backdrop for the Studio Series stuff, they are no longer keeping them. They actually got rid of them. This is one of the newest Studio Series that's come out recently. They got rid of them. So, does anybody remember the Lego movie? I do remember the Lego movie, but we are not here to talk about the Lego movie. We are here to talk about Transformers. So, I can only give theories about things that would have happened. So, and hey, who knows? Maybe the Lego Optimus Prime and Bumblebee would have shown up in the Legacy TV show. I doubt it, but that would have been pretty cool if that was the case. So, but anyways, to continue on the theory of what could have been going on, season 1, I definitely feel like it would have been definitely would have been Transmetal 2 Megatron, bringing in all the baddies from different universes. Season 2 of Legacy goes around. We've got Leo Convoy helping out with the situation in season 2. Tarn becomes the bad guy. And I have a feeling that that's what would have happened. So that could have happened, and then let's see. To continue on with the Legacy United, let's see who is one of the coolest figures of that one. There were so many. Maybe Armada Galvatron. Maybe he finds like maybe he finds the Titan. Maybe he finds the Titan tidal wave and totally like resurrects him or some stuff. Like I don't know what's going on with them with this go. So yeah. But anyways, let's see. Yeah. So that being said, oh, there is a way for you guys to get hold of this. If you guys are interested in getting a hold of this, there is a way for you to do so. So I have left links in the description down below. Do I have Shard? Yes, I do have Shard. I have all of the Infernac universe characters, which by the way, they are for sale. I no longer really need them, so I don't have them on my thing. So hold on, fun fact, they were supposed to be 3 cassette bots. One was named Enemy, he was Rumble but yellow. That's cool. I didn't know about that. I genuinely did not know about that. But yes, I do have Shard. I have let's name them all off by class here. They were only core class and deluxe class. So I have core class Geocron. I have core class Geocron, I have Geocron, Boulder Crash. Excuse me. Core class Boulder Clash or Crash. Excuse me. Also, G1 Ratchet used to be a fembot, but the idea was scrapped. Yeah, I knew the idea was scrapped for him being a fembot because they already knew that it was going to be a boys' television show, so they decided that an all-boy cast would be a lot more market-inducing. So I don't know. I don't know everything that went down in the 80s, but I definitely know that they were trying to keep. They definitely had. Let me put it to you this way. They had something called segregation of television shows. Now, I don't mean that they segregated by race. I mean they were segregated by age. Okay? And they still kind of do that to this day, but they kind of do it in a little bit more of a different way. But I mean, I don't like some of the modern ways that they've done this, but they definitely do have this in some areas. So, for example, you have television shows that only air on TV at a specific set of time that only a young child might be watching. So, say for example, you wanted to watch Thomas the Tank Engine, okay? And take note, I'm only using Thomas the Tank Engine because that's what I grew up on. That's what I watched every so often. But I grew up on the VHS tapes and the DVDs. I didn't grow up with getting up early in the morning watching it on television. I didn't do that. I was the kid who definitely did that. Do you have? I do have. I do not have Earthrise Prowl. I do have the Studio Series 86 version of Prowl, which is the same mold as Prowl. And for a short time, I did have Siege Prowl, but I don't have him anymore. So I remember being so obsessed with Lightning McQueen when I was 6. Yeah, I mean, every 6-year-old was obsessed with Lightning McQueen. I mean, who wouldn't be? So, but anyways, so say for example, you wanted to watch cartoons. You wanted to watch like Thomas the Tank Engine, and that show is meant for a 3-year-old. Well, what time are 3-year-olds most likely to be awake? At 6 a.m. Whining for breakfast, helping mom get ready for the day, helping dad get ready for the day, kind of deal. Then at around 9 a.m., they decide that that's around the time that they're going to fall asleep, so the next age gets up and watches the television show. So let's say 3 to 4 year olds who are watching stuff at 6 a.m. till 8 a.m., then they take a quick nap, and then they get up and they go to preschool and all that other stuff. So then the next age of people gets to watch television. So they usually would shut down the kids' age television shows right around 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Unless you were 3 or 4 years old, then they kept the television shows going, to which you would watch Thomas the Tank Engine, you would watch Caillou, you would watch, what was it? You'd watch, I think it was, what, what was the, oh good lord. I want to say it was Hey Arnold, but I don't know. But anyways, you would watch your television shows, and they basically segregated certain channels by age. Not to say that, only that age could watch them, but they basically did that so that younger children felt that they had something to do. Do you still like Thomas the Tank Engine? I do still like Thomas the Tank Engine. I definitely do. To which, by the way, if you are unaware of that, Thomas the Tank Engine turns 80 years old this year. 80 years old. Yeah. Bet y'all didn't know that. So, anyways, but you'd watch your television shows up to the time around, I want to say maybe like 3 o'clock rolled around, at least in the United States. Right around 3 o'clock, the kids who were in, elementary school and middle school were coming home and they wanted to watch their television shows. And what were they watching? Well, if you were a boy, you watched Transformers, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Thundercats. You also watched what else can I think of? Some 80s television shows. Maybe you watched Beetlejuice. I don't know. But you basically watched the television. You watched all the boys' television shows. If you were a girl, you watched the Cabbage Patch Kids. You watched Some not all girls did this, but I know a lot of boys, myself included, who also watched the Smurfs. So, but that was more like along the lines of that could be a television show for both genders to watch. And if you were a girl, you watched She-Ra, you watched the Cabbage Patch Kids, maybe you watched Care Bears, maybe you watched what was it? Wonder Woman. Maybe you watched Xena Warrior Princess. You watched certain shows like that, and take note. The boys were content watching their television shows, and the girls were content watching their television shows. If they wanted to come together on a Saturday morning and watch all their cartoons all at once, they watched the Smurfs. They watched the Addams Family. I don't know if they watched Beetlejuice or not, but that's more of along the lines like, hey, this is a weird cartoon that exists. But they watched what was it? The Gnome Show, the Gnomes. I think it was Valley of the Gnomes or something like that. But they watched that show. There were so many television shows that could be watched also by multiple genders, but usually it was right around the time of Saturday morning cartoons and in half-hour blocks after school. So, yeah. Bertha, what is that one? Postman Pat. Yep, Postman Pat. That was a good one too. I didn't watch Bertha. I don't know which one that is, uh, but yeah, if you were a kid like that, you definitely watched you watched weird. You definitely watched your television shows. And are you getting the new Transformer Studio Series Dark of the Moon Q? I am currently trying to not pre-order stuff because of what I'm able to find out in the wild already. So 80, that's the same age as my grandpa. I said 1980, not 80, not you're in your 80s. I meant the 1980s. So if you were in the 80s, you definitely watched certain shows like Postman Pat, you definitely watched shows like Thomas the Tank Engine, definitely watched shows like Thundercats, He-Man. I don't know all of the 80s television shows that were watched over in the UK at the very least, but I do know some of the American ones, so yeah. And Thomas the Tank Engine was shown off in America, not in the 80s, but definitely in the 90s, because that was right around the time that they had the television show that introduced us to the wonderful person got to play Street Fighter. You go ahead and play Street Fighter, man. Go for it. But you basically had those shows in the 80s in the UK for sure. I knew Thomas the Tank Engine was there. A Transformer and GI Joe the cross He-Man, a GI Joe He-Man cross Transformer and GI Joe He-Man crossover goes hard. I'm not gonna lie, I really need to see them do the He-Man crossover next because that's gonna be determining what's actually gonna happen. And truth be told, if they were to do a He-Man crossover, I'm really surprised they didn't do they wouldn't have done this is what frustrated me about this. Okay, take note, I am not angry at this crossover. This crossover does not anger me one bit. The molding slightly irritates me a little bit because they went and used the Cheetor and Tigertron mold. So yeah, they used the Cheetor and Tigertron mold for the Kamiki what was it, Kurama and the Gamakichi. They used it for the Kurama mold. Why can't they use what is He-Man's cat? Like Battle Cat? Why didn't they just use the Tigatron mold for Battle Cat and give us a different version of Hot Rod or Studio Series 86 Hot Rod in a He-Man color and give us that duo? I just don't understand why nobody is sitting on their butts thinking about this stuff. Like they have molds at their disposal that could definitely work. It just frustrates me that no one thinks about it. So we are going to keep this live stream going for another 6 or so minutes. So definitely get your comments in if you would like to comment, and you would definitely like to be shouted out in this live stream. So please be aware of that if you would like to. So Bertha was created by the creator of Postman Pat. Okay. That's cool. I definitely know that the creator of Thomas the Tank Engine also created a British television show called Tugs, and that guy was also the director of a television or a pyrotechnics director of a television show called The Thunderbirds, or at least the old version of The Thunderbirds. So just remember when we're talking Thunderbirds, it's the old one. Bertha is a living machine. The theme song is wholesome. I'm gonna have to take a look into that. That sounds like something I would be interested in taking a look at. So, but yeah. So there was one more thing I wanted to show off before we ended this video here, to which you guys can find links to this if you're in the United States. You can find links to this. So I happen to have something that I've never actually shown off live before, and I really wanted to, but I just didn't. So please be aware of this. This is the GoBots Power Grungy. Yeah. Talk about a theme song that really, really brings you back. So this is basically the biggest competitor to Transformers they ever had. And if you guys saw the Netflix documentary series of The Toys That Made Us, to which, by the way, definitely worth the watch. 100% worth the watch. I can't even complain about that show. It was well worth it to watch that show. So definitely worth it. They definitely had themselves a good run out here in the U.S. with GoBots, but if you guys aren't aware, the GoBots was basically the American type version of the Transformers, and the American Transformers was basically created by Hanna-Barbera, and they had a whole theme song, the GoBots, the whole deal, right? They also had the bad guys. Gotta go. My dog's getting a vaccine. I'm sorry. Well, anyways, I will finish talking about the GoBots and then we shall end this live stream. But basically, Power Grungy here is basically the same thing as like a combiner would be in Transformers. So let me show this off a little bit here. So this would have been a power suit that you would have placed a GoBot. You would have lifted this up, placed your GoBot inside, or you would have opened up your side panel, placed your GoBot inside, secured it down, closed that up, and then you would have taken this, slid it onto the gigantic robot sitting before you, and would have left it like so. So that's basically the deal. The Renegades were the bad guys. What was it? It was the Renegades and the. I have to look at the other one. The Guardians. That's it. The Guardians. It was the Renegades and the Guardians. So much like the Autobots and the Decepticons, you had the Guardians and you had the Renegades. So yeah. Anyways, this is Thomas Phantom 1. We're going to end this stream here this evening, so that way we can get on to the rest of the night. So, thank you, Zaga the Animator, for tuning in. Thank you, Lime X. Thank you to Skibbity Jacket. Thank you to Devin Poon, big fan Transformers. And I think we also need to say thank you to Transformers fan as well. So please do not forget to check all of them out as well. Are you getting the Transformers Studio Series Age of Extinction? I'm going to assume you're going to say Age of Extinction Optimus Prime. And yes, I do want to get that one. And so soon as I find it out in the wild, I definitely will be acquiring it and bringing it home. So yes. Anyways. So, no? The Studio Series Age of Extinction... What Age of Extinction? Age of Extinction. What do you mean by Age of Extinction? There's a bunch of Age of Extinction stuff, and I've got a little bit of it, but not a lot. So, if you're referring to the Age of Extinction Optimus Prime, which could be the reason I'm waiting for it, so I just gotta wait for it to show up. And the second it does show up, I will be acquiring it, bringing it home, possibly going into credit card debt, and definitely enjoying it. So, anyways. So, this is Thomas Phantom 1 saying, do not forget to check out Transformers Fan as the final person who has been here to the live stream. Also, do not forget to check out Lemon Lime Studios as he was here briefly, so do not forget to check him out. And do not forget to check out Kit and Cat 999. And please also do not forget to check out Marvelous Ball, as there's some other OGs to the live chats and everything of that nature of the live streams. So, yeah. And by the way, to answer I am going to be finding that. Hold up. I'm trying to find a person's name right because I don't know what his name. Yeah, it's the Night Optimus Prime. So, anyways, y'all have a good rest of your night, and also please do not forget to check out Jordy's Rail Videos, Patrick with Y, iStar552, Bravely GG, Take Along Productions, Riveted Reviews, Riveted Rail Fan, Alexander Rothschild, The Good, the Bad, the Awesome, and New York Toy Hunter, as they've all done some amazing work, have helped me out on the channel previously and have done so in the past. And I know some people who definitely still work with some of them, so definitely be on the lookout for them as well. So, anyways, this is Thomas Final One saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys and be on the lookout for all of this. And also, please do not forget to check out the description below where you can enter into a giveaway where we will be giving this away. So please do not forget to do all of that. Like I said, and this is Thomas Final One saying once again, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.